Hello everyone, my name is Mad Scorpion and welcome back to another This Week in Destiny update. So the topics on the list for today is a PvP strike team update, which I feel like these words together don't make sense because is it PvP or strikes or is it the strike team? You know, they could just call it the PvP team. That would make better sense. Regardless, I digress. Accessibility and console UI updates, the Prophecy Dungeon Weapons update, and the Normandy Crew winners. So there is a lot of talking, and basically, to put some things in perspective, since the strike team was formed, the bulk of the work has been focusing on solutions for 5 major issues: Crucible maps, rewards, game modes, sandbox, and matchmaking. Now, they're like the usual with these, there is lots of words, and I'm just going to hopefully go over to the dot points. The already live is the initial map spawning quality of life pass, addressing spawn traps for Altar of Flame, Cauldron, Endless Vale, Midtown, and Meltdown. On March 5th's update, additional map spawning quality of life pass, addressing spawn traps for Eternity and Fortress, moving all backfield spawns from non-rift modes in the Citadel, Cathedral, Dust, Disjunction, and Convergence. This will effectively make these maps play 30 to 50% smaller than they do currently and reduce the amount of time spent running back. So, a little insight into this in case you don't know what that means. Backfield spawns, especially in Convergence, is essentially when you have a far back spawn point, and then there's the A point, and then there's the middle point, and the C point, and then another far back spawn. In a case where the objective would be all the way at A side, if they were pushing the objective pretty far and you got all the way back to the back point, it could be like 30 solid seconds of running before you can even get into the area, let alone be able to affect the objective. So that actually does make sense. Sometimes you don't need to spawn that far back in objective modes when that just ruins it. Then there also will be major tuning of the initial spawning, heavy ammo crates, and typebreaker zones for these maps to accommodate. We're also making changes to the workflows that will allow us to update the above variables more easily in the future to basically, in case there's ever a bug or a crazy imbalance when it comes to spawning, fix it sooner. For example, the next time Dead Cliffs returns for trials, it will have changes made to spawns, zones, and heavy ammo placement more it's balanced. Crucible focused players will also feel left behind in terms of locations as they get less exposure to the awesome new destinations that come with the releases. For example, Europa and Neomuna both have exciting palettes that our PvP focused players rarely get to experience, and may be releasing new maps that will feature both these locations. You know, I didn't realize that we haven't had a map in Neomuna at all. With these maps will be available control and will have specifically built with a focus on 3v3 game modes in mind, including Dominion, Clash, Survival, and our newest mode, Collision. The May update will include an Eventide Labs Europa map, Cirrus Plaza Neomuna map, and Dissonance in the Terraformed Pyramid ship, which is allegedly focused on more comp stuff, so yeah, that last bit might not be so great. Now, let's see, some general already live changes to rewards. Increased end of match rewards, including more glimmer and higher chances for cores and engrams. Created double rewards booster for PvP. In competitive, already live is added weapon focusing and added a second tier to competitive weekly challenge awards and ascendant alloys. I guess they're still looking to improve rewards without busting it apart. Artifice armor in competitive Crucible. Ooh. So the following will have a chance to drop as Artifice armor from Comp Crucible, which is basically a variety of these armors, blah blah blah. Lots of random Crucible armors. Let's see. And another change to competitive, update 7.3.5, adding a third tier to competitive weekly challenges with the new reward of Artifice armor. This tier will be unlocked for all players to reach Gold 3 or above for each season. This tier will require match victories instead of completions. Upon completing of the challenge, each victory thereafter will have a chance to drop Artifice armor, and these drop rates will increase alongside your rank. Competitive matches will also have increased chance to drop exotic weapon catalysts on victories. For trials, some change already live is added a 50% chance to get a trials weapon on wins. With the next update, this will be updated to exclusively drop the weekly weapon reward to better allow for targeted farming of the specific weapon you want. Added flawed card rewards as well. Then next update, we're making the follow changes to Trials passages. For the passage of Ferocity, if you have not been flawless for the week, losses after 3 wins will reset you back to 3 wins instead of flowing your card. With the new passage of Persistence, losing or losses following a win will remove the win from your card. Consecutive losses do not remove additional wins. Getting to 7 wins grants you a drop of the weekly adept weapon regardless of how many losses you have taken. Seems like going flawless, air quotes, is getting easier. This passage works like a trailing backstop. Once you have at least one win recorded on the passage, a loss will remove the most recent win instead of flowing it. Since consecutive losses will not remove additional wins, winning 2 games in a row adds a permanent win to the card, and win streaks longer than 2 additional wins grant additional permanent wins. You can only go flawless on this passage if you do not have a win removed. Once a win has been removed, you can no longer get flawless using this passage, but you can still earn a roll of the weekly adept weapon. There you go. So I guess good ways to go at it. In case you lose 1,000 times, you'll have a card that will allow you to make the grind. Additionally, let's see, we're also adding rewards for match completions by 3-person fire teams and trials, although you do not need to win to earn these rewards as the participation gathered, so simply jumping off the map or sitting AFK in spawn will disqualify you from getting them. Additional 50% chance to drop the non-adept trials weekly weapon, a 50% chance to earn a trials engram, additional trials rep. The goal of these changes is to encourage players to team up with friends, with losses being less of a punishment. Players can have more fun and be well rewarded while doing so. Giving more incentive to have 3 stacks, but also still have random matchmaking. That kind of clashes with ideas, but whatever. Then some game modes. Already live is Sparrow Control, 3v3 Clash to the labs, as well as updated countdown rule set for competitive. The next update will feature 3v3 Clash. We'll be moving to the 3v3 Quick Play Rotator, making these updates for the rules. Heavy ammo will no longer be shared, respawn timer increased, match timer increased to 10 minutes, but the score will remain 40. A new 3v3 King of the Hill mode, Collision, will enter Crucible Labs. A single larger zone will rotate between 5 points around the map on a timer. Capturing and controlling them will earn your team points. This mode will also test an alternative special ammo crate system. The crate system will feature 4 shareable special ammo crates that will spawn simultaneously at the beginning of our game or round, and then on a timer afterwards. Each control zone will have associated special ammo, and the 4th crate will be in a neutral location. Players who currently have special ammo will drop special ammo bricks on death. There's a goal to polish and refine both new special ammo acquisition systems, the ammo meter, and ammo crates that can be utilized along with the respawn ammo system. Let's see, and we can pick the ammo acquisition system that works best for each mode. The Iron Banner Tribute has undergone multiple changes, including simplifying objectives and scoring, including changing the trigger for the hunt to depositing max crests, Zemble, moving the wall hacks on players carrying crests, cleaning up the user experience by decreasing the distance at which crest icons can be seen. Also, we are also reworking how quickly beacons despawn and rotate and significantly decrease the time it takes to interact with dunk chests, reducing the number of turrets that spawn when the hunt beacon from 4 to 3. The update after next update, Checkmate will be back in Crucible Labs, returning to form closer to its original iteration. 30% penalty on ability cooldowns, no starting special ammo, melee damage will not be increased, so it will take 3 base melees to kill. Primary weapon optimal times to kill will be shifted to allow for a more tactical sandbox, in line with the original goal of Checkmate as a modifier. New modifier of hardware will be tested in Crucible Labs. If no abilities, only weapons. That sounds great. Grab special ammo and heavy ammo from the crates located around the map and get shooting. And during the final shape, private matches will have more options for players to set per mode. Modifiers such as Mayhem or Scorch will be available in any game mode, like custom matches with your friends or clanmates with the Leverage Fireteam Fighter. We'd also added more custom tuning for existing game modes, have better control over things like special ammo delivery, cooldowns, reviving, respawning, and more. Then sandbox issues. Oh boy, let's see. There are problems at their core. Let's see. Is it all the same usual stuff? We have certain ability builds with higher uptime and higher potency that we believe is healthy. Provided near constant availability of special ammo, which means there are always going to be a surplus of one-shot kill weapons. We've made primary ammos highly lethal, fast killing, and in generally also very forgiving. This all leads to a high percentage of deaths from the target's perspective. It feels like there's nothing they could have done differently. Let's see, many of the above reflectors are reflected through powerful sandbox elements that either have high rewards without appropriately punishing suboptimal play, blah, blah, blah. Let's see, update 7.5. Let's see, the Crucible sandbox is getting a significant shakeup to increase battlefield readability and understanding. We're also adjusting the weapons sandbox to encourage primary ammo mastery and reduce the prevalence of high reward, low risk weapon playstyles. The following Crucible changes are specific. Players' base health increasing by 30 from 70 to 100. Abilities, grenade, melee, and class ability cooldowns all increase 15% across the board. Melee damage is increased by 16%. Super cooldowns increased by 20%. Super damage is increasing by 31%. Bow damage is increased or decreased by 15%. All other primary weapon critical hit damage increases between 10 to 14% depending on archetype to maintain the same optimal times to kill as the current sandbox. Decreasing hand cannon and submachine gun body shot damage by 5 and 3% respectively. Special ammo after initial spawn will be earned through kills or completion of objectives. The goal is not to force players to utilize their double primary playstyle, but to encourage smart and measured special ammo usage. I'm sorry, Bungie, but unless it's literally like 5 kills to earn a single round worth of special ammo, if you earn a way to earn special ammo for anyone, there will always be the shotgun apes that do nothing but run around with shotgun and just use a shotgun all game. Increases the damage of short and mid-range special ammo weapons like shotguns. Perfect point. Shotguns, trace rifles, fusion rifles, and glaive projectiles by 20%. Specific balance charge or change highlights. Limited the uptime of Wish Ender's wall hacks. Reducing sniper rifle aim assist. Reduced the flinch dealt to players by hand cannons. Slowing down the activation speed of target lock on submachine guns only. Another immortal nerf there. Reducing thread spectre uptime in PvP. Let's see. Reducing threadling damage to players, and threadlings will be easier to destroy. Fighting line and Devil's Ruin damage against players will be lowered. During the final shape, we're working on changes to reduce the dominance of Ward of Dawn and Well of Radiance. Also want to improve the viability of supers with longer recharge times in objective game modes. We'll have to do more to share on this close to the reach of final shape. Now, Crucible-wise, I get why. They're not, air quotes, offensive, but they are the fastest charging supers in the game. And it's pretty easy to lock down objectives with both, and it pretty much takes either a super or a really specific suppression style gameplay to counter them. So, as long as they have the fastest cooldown and very few counters that isn't just another super, they will always have uptime. They will always be dominant. Bungie, I hope you're listening. I know you're not, but I hope you do. Then, after the final shape, we are exploring UI updates to the obituary screen that would show the combination of players that killed you rather than just who dealt the final blow. Interesting. Let's see, then matchmaking. Let's see, already live is replacing the loose skill-based matchmaking Iron Banner Crucible with a new outlier projected matchmaking system. Updated competitive matchmaking to be rank-based. Currently testing several different configurations of a new Snake Draft Lobby Balancer. That's a fancy word. And update 7.5 will be updating our playlist tooltips to correctly display which matchmaking style is used for each mode. We have several changes planned for the ongoing experimentation with Snake Draft Lobby Balancing, aimed at improving how it handles fire teams. Let's see, then lots of blah blah blah. Our matchmaking systems do not individually force players to a 1.0 kill-death ratio or a 50% win ratio, intentionally allowing players to dominate for a few games and place them in games where they get destroyed, sacrificing connection quality for skill or any other filter. Our 3 most common matchmaking systems, Outlier, Rank, or Open Skill, all keep of average connection quality generally within the same bounds. In fact, Outlier Projector and Rank-based have on average slightly better connection quality than Open Skill due to increased time they were made in optimal connection bracket while searching for matches. That is a bunch of do-nots that it allegedly does. So then, let's see what they do as opposed to they do not. Games with deltas of less than 500 will generally feel less competitive. With few or no players outclassed, there will be a difference in performances between the highest and lowest players. Colloquially, you refer to this as the sweat zone, obviously. With deltas greater than 500 and less than 1,000, there will be a noticeable skill variance present, usually enough to avoid games from feeling too sweaty. Some players will be outclassed, but it's unlikely that there will be people in the match who are completely in over their heads for well-populated unranked game modes like Control or Iron Banner. We consider this Goldilocks zone, where games can present varied experiences without becoming stomping grounds. It's Iron Banner. There'll always be ways for it to become stomping grounds. At deltas larger than 1,000, it will be likely for one or more players to get few or no kills the entire game. While contributing double-digit deaths, we can refer to this as the stomp zone. These experiences result in some of the largest negative sentiment spikes we've seen in our game and are heavy drivers for player departures. It's called Crucible. Unfortunately, that's just in general. Let's see. With that information, let's talk about specific matchmaking strategies. In our most recent poll of rank-based matchmaking stats, here's the number. 60% of rank-based matches started with a converted rank deltas less than 300 with all players within 3 minor ranks, Gold 3 or Gold 1. 26% of rank-based matches start with the converted deltas of more than 300 but less than 5. with all players within 5 mana ranks, silver and bleh. Let's see, 4% of ranked matches had more of 500 but less than 600, 3% greater than 600, blah, blah, blah. More stats. Let's see, here are numbers for the most recent pull of Open. Actually, this is all just reports, so if you want to read through these, go ahead. Let's see, more stats and trials. Let's see, 2 common suggestions to how to solve the issue with trials is basically making it only trios can queue, make it so duos cannot queue, or they can queue, but they're protected, or not protected from trios. And let's see, and talking about the stuff they've already talked about. Let's see, lobby balancing. Lots more stuff about matchmaking. Okay, so that was mostly all the Crucible stuff. That was already almost 15 minutes worth of talking. Let's see, to continue prioritization, accessibility, and improve console experience, added a few overdue quality of life UI changes, added the reticle location setting to console center or below center. So you added controller dead zone settings, added the ability to adjust the opacity? I forget how to say that officially, but of the radar background. Players can now increase the radar, basically how well it can be seen through to whether or not they want it there. Then the Prophecy Dungeon update. Let's see. In update 7.5, we'll be updating the weapon pool in the Prophecy Dungeon. This will include swapping out 3 weapons and making some key updates to other existing ones. So the Swift Verdict Sidearm, the Long Walk Sniper Rifle, and the Last Breath Auto Rifle will be removed from the things. They will be getting an origin trait though, which will be crossing over. These weapons have increased range and handling for the top half of the magazine, while rounds for the bottom half deal increased damage. Weird. It's glass half full meets the what's the word? Calm before the storm? I don't know, but stat buff at the first half of the magazine, damage up at the bottom half. Depending on how crazy it is, that actually might be kind of nuts. So these weapons will receive all new perk pools, and in some cases, new damage types, including the Prosecutor Auto Rifle, a primary arc precision frame, the Adjudicator submachine gun, which will be primary in the kinetic slot precision frame, and the Relentless Pulse Rifle, which will be a high impact primary. Let's see, damage change from kinetic to strand. And updated will be the Judgment Hand Cannon, that is still a adaptive primary hand cannon, changed from kinetic to stasis. Darkest Before, changed from arc to solar, it is a rapid fire frame. The Sudden Death Shotgun, still aggressive frame, but changed from arc to void. And updated encounter drops will essentially be the first boss, the Phalanx, will drop the Pulse Rifle and Auto Rifle, the Relentless and the Prosecutor. The Cube will drop the Sudden Death Shotgun, as well as the Adjudicator submachine gun. The Kel Echo, we'll see, rewards will be given at the Emissary chest. So there's a Judgment Hand Cannon, the Darkest Before Pulse Rifle. So if Prophecy is a fun dungeon of yours, get ready, because there is actually reasons to go for it now. Now, they didn't specify, so I doubt they will be, but I don't think they'll be craftable, so maybe they'll be worth getting a new roll or two, but they might not be craftable. Typically, dungeon guns aren't crafted, unless it's something that came in a weird spot, like, what's the weapons? The fusion rifle and machine gun from Duality. Those were part of the Menagerie weapons, were part of a set that's released that season, so that makes sense why they were brought back, even though I'd rather have all of it. So then some Normandy winners. Let's see. We celebrated EA and BioWare. If you haven't already, add your Bungie IDs to the entry, so grant your emblem as soon as possible. I'm not gonna lie, I know I'm not exactly looking, but I don't see any bit of this that looks like it's the Mass Effect stuff. Oh, okay. So this is imitation Mass Effect. Okay, so basically putting it together. Now that I saw Rex over here, that kind of makes more sense. So, actually, yeah, I do get what they're going for. Now the player support reports. So, new subforms to help us help you more efficiently. Create 2 new subforms within the help forum. Basically for the Fireteam Finder, and then accessibility in case you have issues that go in either of those areas. Then claiming games to give rewards. The fundraiser participants that are missing rewards, please review the troubleshooting steps in the article right here in the link. Those unable to locate an email from games to give, please submit their ticket at this article. And then for some known issues, The closer to the Heart seasonal triumph is visible earlier than intended. The mission to complete the triumph will be available later this season. So there is something more coming with Season of the Wish. The Twitch reaction bounty may not be able to be claimed by all players. The Apotheosis Veil exotic does not always trigger when using the Well of Radiance. Who's using Apotheosis Veil? That's even more disturbing. Overload artifact mods inadvertently affect ignition damage. Oh boy. So that is, of course, the usual known issues article. Check out the article itself if you want to review it, and submit anything to the help forum yourself if you have an issue that needs solving. And then we have Riven and Rolk videos of the week, but still just 1 and 1, because I guess not many people are making it still nowadays. Can't tell that's Riven or Tyrannus, though. I want to say that's Tyrannus, just because, oh yes, Tyrannus, just because it has more hair than I believe Riven had, in a different color. But regardless, that was another bit of a talker twab. Apologies for skipping through a lot of the bulk of the last bit. I was tired of talking about Crucible stuff that didn't seem to be any actual changes. It just seemed to be stats. But with that, my name is Matt Scorpion, and I thank you for watching.